everyone. This is Cash, and welcome to my channel, So-Called Cash. In this segment of my channel called Top Floor Talks, we get into everything spirituality and energy. All right, so today's subject that I chose to start this series off with is emotions. And I chose this subject because it's been a super important subject in my life for me to address and really understand in this lifetime. So we're going to get into what emotions are and why even bother understanding what they are. So, emotions. Everybody, I feel like, knows emotions as something kind of like as if it has a negative connotation. Usually you hear somebody say, oh, she's so emotional. And sometimes when they say that, it seems to have a connotation as if, she's happy 1 second and the next minute she's angry. If we like dive kind of deeper into what emotion is, happiness is also an emotion. Joy is also an emotion. Peace is an emotion. These are also states of emotion as well. So if we think about emotion now, emotion are just all of the feeling states. From being angry, upset, to being happy, joyful, giggly, extra gregarious. Those are all emotions. They're all feeling states. So if emotions are feeling states, in this experience, we break them up into negatives and positives. Why do we do that? Because to be honest, from my own experience, there's no such thing as negative or positive. There is no such thing as good or bad because it's all based on your perception. But emotions was something I really had to come to understand because when I first started on my journey of self-understanding, self-mastery, one of the big things that came up is that my energy was all over the place. My emotions would scale throughout the day. I'd go from feeling happy, elated, to next thing you know, I'm angry and somber. I'm like, blah, everything is blah. Because I didn't know how to explain how I was feeling. And there'd be some days too where I go from being happy, me and my boyfriend are having a great day. And then in that same day, something would happen where I get triggered and I completely shut down. I'd shut my boyfriend out. And that same walk that started out real pleasant and fun turned into the most silent walk going home. But luckily, there's no such thing as coincidences. So it worked out so beautifully that my partner is somebody who really did work on being safe and secure in himself so that whenever I had those kinds of experiences where I'm going all through the emotional scale, he would maintain how he was while I was figuring out what the hell was going on with me. So that was really big for me in the beginning. And when I realized how all over the place I was, and I didn't want to be like that, and I never was, to be honest. As a kid, I cried as a kid, and, I'd get made fun of for crying so much and being a crybaby that eventually I kind of stopped crying. It's funny to say that, but I really didn't cry much. I was always very happy, always smiling. And so when I met my boyfriend, and that's literally when my spiritual journey really began of diving into myself and understanding myself, I was like, holy shit, a bitch is all over the fucking place. It was this insane. The girl that used to always smile, always be happy, was now going from being happy to being sad to being silent to going back to being happy, back to laughing. I'm like, oh shit. Am I crazy? And it's funny because on the spiritual journey, you think you're crazy. And the spiritual journey is literally a journey of understanding yourself. And you think you're going crazy because I literally would experience a ton of emotions, a ton. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? How could I be happy and the next minute I'm sad and upset? And then inside me, I feel in my pelvis and in my chest, I just feel this tightness that I just could not relieve. And so in those moments, I'd work through myself, and I had to learn to open my mouth and speak up and understand that I'm not a burden, understand that I'm with somebody who wants to hear what's going on with me. And the more I opened my mouth to say the thing I thought was stupid that triggered me and bothered me, the more I spoke about that, the more I realized that it's not stupid and it's a part of a deep-rooted issue. And when I spoke about those things more, it caused me to go deeper into my past. And so those little things, they weren't so little because they stem from something bigger that I had buried in those smiles, in those being happy when I actually wasn't. And so now it's literally all coming out. I don't know if anybody watched Seinfeld, but on the Seinfeld episode, he was like, I started crying and I can't stop. And that's literally how I feel like I've been. Ever since this journey has begun, I feel like I've cried almost, not every day, but like, catch me in a week, I must have cried at least 3 times. From feeling states of joy that made me cry, or sadness and anger that made me cry, but literally straight tears. So here I am all over the place. And we'd call all these states that I went through emotions. These emotions are literally energy. But let's get into that though. If you think about emotion, a lot of the time people tie emotion to being something negative. You're very emotional. When you hear the word emotional, don't you already think this bitch got an attitude? She's angry and then she's upset, and then she had the nerve to be happy and then want to fucking talk to me? Are you dumb? For what? You just had this whole attitude, bitch. We can't talk. But, usually emotional, from being general, of course, but being emotional has a negative connotation. And so if all of those feeling states are emotions, what are emotions? Emotions are energy in motion. Emotions are energy in motion. I've come to understand that I'm a vibratory being. I'm an energetic being. So I'm here in this human experience. There's a greater version of me, which is observing, understanding thyself, but is simply present. Outside of that, there's no judgment, there's no shame, there's no feeling guilty, there's none of that. It's legit just unconditional love. That's the ultimate feeling state of the highest version of me. And then there's this vessel that has literally come to experience this human experience. It went through having parents who gave this vessel a certain experience. And through this experience, I worked my way through understanding the greater version of myself. The experience I chose brought me back home to myself. But the human part of me, the vehicle, the ego, the personality, this vessel, is seeing an experience and defining it. This experience that it's observing, it's defining based on what it's experienced in the past. Because in this vessel, as a human, we have to define everything to make it make sense. So now, here you are as an adult, when you have those same experiences, you define that experience as something that's negative because it made you feel anger, it made you feel upset, it made you feel sad, it made you feel like a victim. Because you feel like a victim, you feel sad, you feel angry, and it goes on and on and on and on. So something that was just energy that was moving through your body, because of your past experiences, you allowed yourself to define that moment with this emotional state. Now, what if we saw that experience, allowed ourselves to feel that experience, right? Allowed our heart to beat, allowed our body to clam up, but we saw that, oh, wow, I am reacting as if this is something from the past that made me upset. I'm not there anymore. I'm a whole fucking adult. I am absolutely in charge of my experience. I create my reality. I decide how I'm going to feel about this experience. And then guess what happens? You say, you know what? Vessel, breathe. You breathe in a little deeper. Heart rate, you can slow down. Nothing's happening. I feel good in my body. All is well. All is well. Everything is working out for me. It's okay. And then suddenly you start to feel a little like kind of peaceful. You feel happy. What the fuck is going on? You literally changed your reality. You changed how that experience was going to make you feel by changing how you felt inside first. When I came to really understand that, I was like, oh, wow, I appreciate the ranges of emotion I can feel. Because I used to get so upset for getting angry, upset for getting sad, upset for feeling guilty and shameful, and then that creating more negative feelings or things I didn't want to feel inside of me. I used to hate it because that wasn't me. I'm genuine. Like, I really do just love to have fun. I love to feel good. I want everybody around me to feel great. I just want everybody to be happy. And then here I am being the way that I'm being. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I don't like it. But what I had to do, because you can't get yourself to feel good if you hating on yourself for feeling those ways that you don't want to feel. So I loved up on myself. And I accepted those emotions that I wasn't a big fan of. I said, you know what? I'm upset right now, but I know that it's because I looked through the lens of the past. And what I constantly did was reminded myself that I'm not there anymore. I'm surrounded by unconditional love, as unconditional as it can get in the human experience. I am surrounded by peace. I'm surrounded by abundance and resourcefulness. I have everything that I need. And I kept reminding myself of that. I kept reminding myself, I kept coming home to me in my vessel. I kept coming home to me, kept coming home to me, kept coming home to me. And in doing so, I created a beautiful, safe container in myself. When I felt emotions I wasn't a big fan of, I was able to love up on myself and transmute it, like we mentioned earlier, into something that felt good. And then that brings me to the greater part of myself, which is unconditional love. It is energy in motion. It's moving through your vessel, and it just is. But you are the alchemist. The alchemist can see that this is an experience I'm not a big fan of. I'm feeling things I'm not a big fan of feeling. But by acknowledging that, you can literally transmute that into a beautiful feeling state and continue to just always be in communion with the highest part of you. Because it's always present. It's just whether or not you create the illusion that you're separate from it. You're always that. It's like, where you going, bitch? Unconditional love right here, baby. I'm here for you. Where you going? But you riding that wave of negativity, of feelings that you're not a big fan of, taking yourself further and further away from that good. When it's like, no, have compassion with yourself. Take time with yourself. Love up on yourself. Love up on that inner child that's crying that was triggered by that feeling. And when you love up on that self, you understand why you feel it. You drive yourself. You start riding the wave. Remembering that the greater part of you is here to fucking love up on you. And it is loving up on you. It's not judging you. It's here for you, right here for you. So you have energy. Energy, once you define it, turns into an emotion. This emotion can scale from upset, angry, sad, despair, to happy, joyful, peaceful, all that good stuff. You choose. So let's do a quick example. I want you to feel this too, because I'm all up in my feelings, all feeling it. I want you to feel it too. So I want you to imagine something that will make you feel good. You want to actually feel good in your body. You want to start smiling when you think about it. Like, ooh, like you got that job that you always wanted. You got that check that helped you pay for that thing you always wanted to do, or that trip that you're in the water, you're just relaxing and how good it feels. Think about something that will bring a smile to your face. Take a few seconds. I got my thing. I'm smiling. Can you see? A minute. Oh, God. All right. So that's the good stuff. You just felt good, right? By thinking the thoughts that you thought, you were able to make yourself feel good. You really don't need an experience to change in order for you to change how you feel. It starts from here first. And I'm so grateful that, yes, what I've been through has definitely been quite an experience. I started to question, like, I want to feel happy. Like, why don't I feel happy? And now I have this amazing boyfriend. And you would think once you get that, you're going to be happy. But how come I'm still going through all these scales of emotion? Like, I'm all over the place. And so when I came to understand that I'm an energetic being first, but in order for you to become the highest version of yourself, and not even become it, in order for you to realize that you are it, always are it, you have to allow yourself to work through those negative emotions, have compassion for yourself, begin to find the goodness in it in order to come back to being that goodness, to being that greater part of yourself that's always there. It's present right now, even in your sadness. It's just waiting for you to be like, bitch, you tired of being sad? Because I'm tired for you. I want you to feel this. I want you to feel this unconditional love I got for you, baby. Oh God, I want you to feel this unconditional love I have for you. But you got to be willing to be like, I'm sad. Why am I sad? Is it something I could feel good about right now? And eventually, because, you know, maybe what makes you feel good is that you want to smoke something. And that's cool, smoke. Because one of my things was food. Food made me feel good, boy. That shit made me feel good. Not no more, though. I just eat to eat. I'll make sure what I eat tastes good. But food was my jam. But constantly doing that, because you're going to go through life. You're going to constantly have experiences that force you to change, force you to transmute. So it hurts when you're in a lesser state of being. And so I kept being in those funks and I kept using food. And I actually kept indulging more in food because I was like, bro, like, I'm not feeling good. I want to feel good. And then I decided, I was like, okay, nothing outside of me is going to make me feel good. So I got to start from inside myself first. I just allowed myself to feel good because I had done so much work on my past. I did so much. I fucking love every single part of me. Every part of me that was on some fuckery. Every part of me that felt like a victim. And so when I understood emotions and when I understood that it's energy just playing out and that I define how that energy plays out, I chose to choose differently in every moment. And the more I did that, the more I felt in control of my reality. So I felt so loved. I felt so just good inside. I felt happy. And I didn't realize I didn't feel happy consistently until I started feeling happy consistently. And that just happened this year. I've been on this journey for like a good 7 years now, 8 years. And I literally just started feeling happiness consistently. And I'm like, wow, I'm smiling all the time. I'm singing more often. I like, ideas are flowing. I'm more creative. And I feel so blessed and just so like, I did that. I changed my life. And this shit I want y'all to feel. That's why the first video for this Top Floor Talks series is emotions. So I think I rambled for long enough. Thank you guys for listening. This has been Top Floor Talks. Until next time.